Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer channel episode. This video is going to be about my visit to the Houses of Parliament. That's the Palace of Westminster in London. Now, I did the trip as a day trip and I never really thought it was possible to do just one thing in a day from where I am. I'm located in Shropshire, so I always thought it was slightly too far too far to travel for one day. So I just did it. I booked a different train. I'd actually gone on a different train the previous time I'd been to London, and it took a very, very, very long time to get there, almost 3 hours by train. There were so many different stops, and it kind of left me exhausted after I got there. So this time I tried a different train, and I actually went with Virgin Trains, and they only had 2 stops. They had one stop at Coventry and one stop at Rugby. And it was also the trains that kind of tilt on the track, so it allowed them to go a lot faster. They didn't have to slow down. So the upshot was we got there a lot quicker. Kind of got there round about 12 o'clock in the daytime. Okay, so here I am at the train station waiting for my train. It's going to be terribly exciting. Oh no, the train has actually been delayed. Okay, here comes the train. We have got one change. And then I took the London Underground, which I wasn't able to film at, sadly, because it was such a rush. So we got the Underground to Embankment Station, and then we walked down the main road past the London Eye. Just walking down the main road past the river and looking at the London Eye. Wow. And turned right towards the Houses of Parliament and Big Ben. So it was only about 8-10 minutes walk. It was really quick. We went past New Scotland Yard. Okay, just passing New Scotland Yard. So here we have the Palace of Westminster. It's absolutely huge. Just look at all the ornate architecture. Just passing the Sovereign's entrance in the Victoria Tower. And passing through Blackrod's garden. It was a really quick walk, but it was very, very, very busy. The last time I went was in sort of main holiday season, and it was busy, and I thought it was busy then, and I thought that was just because of the holidays, but no, it was really, really busy at not the main holiday period. So I came to the conclusion that it doesn't really matter what time you go to London, it could just be busy. One thing I did notice was that security is really tight from the last time I went. There are bollards in place along the bridges, and places where cars could mount the curbs, and there are armed police patrolling in all kinds of places. Outside Parliament as well. I know they normally have armed police, but you know, they're certainly more noticeable, I should say. So I visited the Education Centre, and it was really amazing. Here we have the inside of the Education Centre, and it is the main central corridor, which has the 4 rooms of it. There was different rooms, like monarchy and parliament. There was probably, I think there was about 4 rooms with different themes. I only went into the parliament room, that's all I had time for. It basically gave the history of parliament, right from the very, very first conception of it. It was a room, quite a fairly big room with round seating in the middle, and you'll see that in the video. So here you can see photographs of the room with the central seating in the middle and the projectors projecting onto the wall. It truly was a spectacular presentation and well worth a visit. The main walls had a projector on it, so it was kind of, you know, the projections were all enveloping, so you kind of had to look all the way around to see what was going on, and it told the story brilliantly, and you know, even I learnt a few tips from that. So if you can get a chance to go to the Education Centre, please do. It was really fabulous. From there, oh, by the way, we were security checked going in. It's kind of like going to an airport. You had to take off your belts, your bags, what was in your pockets, put them on these little trays that went through a scanner. You had to walk through this kind of archway scanner. Some people were randomly scanned with a stick if there was an anomaly found. But we all kind of got through. You wore security lanyards and passes so that people knew that you were a tourist there. From the education centre, we took the kind of back route through Parliament, and the back route led to the back entrance of the Sovereign's entrance in the Victoria Tower. So it's known as the Victoria Tower, more commonly known as the Sovereign's entrance, and this is the entrance that the Queen gets dropped off at when she's driven to the state opening of Parliament. The carriage usually pulls up, and it was just amazing to be there in that space, thinking that, you know, all those different state openings and all the times that she's been to Parliament, she has been in that space. There was no carpet on the stairs going up. That's obviously just put there for important visitors or the Queen herself.
Lovely to meet you all. Now,
so, just to give you a sense of perspective, I've included some photographs of the Queen attending Parliament via the Sovereign's entrance, and it just goes to show how amazing it is to actually be there. So I made my way up the stairs, and it was just really amazing thinking that she's took those steps so many times. Now, of course, in the last few years she's used the lift. I didn't get a chance to see the lift. I looked out for it, but there was a massive group of tourists right in front of it, so I didn't really get a good view. The ceilings all around Westminster are absolutely ornate and amazing. They really are. I keep saying amazing, but I can't think of any other words to describe. Spectacular. Okay, they're spectacular. The decoration is spectacular. Again, some more photographs of the Sovereign's entrance in use. Interesting point to note, the carpet was not down for my visit. The palace is undergoing renovation work at the moment. So there's a programme costing hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds. The most notable work at the moment is actually on Big Ben. There's lots of scaffolding up outside Big Ben, towards the top of Big Ben, and you'll see that in the footage. One of the things I noticed was it's a very short walk before you're at the robing room. So usually you see the Queen on the TV for the state opening, going up the stairs, or in recent years up the lift, kind of turning right into the robing room, and of course you only see a little bit of the robing room before the doors close. Now, I was led straight into the robing room, and I didn't even know we were going there, so it was just a really big shock to find myself in the robing room that I had no idea what it looked like. I know there are photographs of it, which I've put in the video for you to look at. Here we see the Queen leaving the robing room. Prince Charles, Prince of Wales, and the Duchess of Cornwall also used this room. Here we see the robing room in more detail. So I sat on the floor and listened to the talk. Again, it's very ornately decorated. They have Queen Victoria's throne, which is actually specially designed for her. In real life, Queen Victoria's throne appeared very tiny. Because of her height and her stature, she couldn't get onto the tall throne, so she had her own made. Either side of that is a portrait of herself. To the left and to the right, Prince Albert. There's an ornate fireplace. Spectacular ceiling again, which you'll see in the footage.
this is the Queen's very fancy dressing room, okay?
So after that, we made our way through the Royal Gallery. Now, in this gallery, there are frescoes, which have now slightly faded, but that's expected over time. But there are also portraits of monarchs. There's Queen Anne. There's our present Queen when she first came to the throne. Here we see the Royal Gallery when not in use. The rows of seating are added for each state opening. And here we see the Queen taking the processional route. There's George VI, the Queen Mother, Prince Philip, Charles I. There's all these different portraits of monarchs, and it was really amazing to look at them. I didn't have long to look, but it was just spectacular to be there. Then we walked through the private chamber, and then we found ourselves walking through a door, and I recognised it instantly as the door that the Queen emerges from into the House of Lords, which is the big red room with the big gold ornate throne that the Queen sits on to deliver her opening speech to Parliament. It was just amazing to see that in real life. Here we see some example photographs of the House of Lords. The 2017 state opening was a very scaled back event. That room is much larger than the House of Commons, but again it was just so spectacular to see it, and that's a room where she walks up the steps to the dais, sits down on the throne. It was just a spectacular space to be in and to see it in the flesh. These are rooms which you see on TV all the time, and the most spectacular thing was knowing that you are actually there. A little note about photography and recording. You were allowed to record and take photos in some rooms, but one thing I couldn't quite get my head around was that the rooms you couldn't take photo and video in were the rooms that you see all the time on TV, like the House of Commons, the House of Lords. These are rooms that are constantly recorded, but yet you couldn't record them. Now, that might be because they think that if people see the footage, they might not want to take the tours. I completely disagree. I think that the more people see and know about this tour, the more they will want to be there themselves. Of course, like I say, you see these rooms all the time on the TV, but did that make me not want to go to the actual physical tour? No. I think, being able to take photographs and videos would actually sell more tickets. So I think the Houses of Parliament have kind of got it wrong on that level. So my feedback to them would be allow photos, allow videos, because the people that watch this kind of video are going to watch it and think, I want to be there myself, I want to experience it. So that was my only thoughts on photography and videos, but I did try and get what I could for you, so I really hope you enjoy it. So from there we made the processional route, which Blackrod normally goes down. Please pause the screen here to take a look at this map. Towards the House of Commons, and you'll see in the video the different rooms, and I'll talk about the different elements of the rooms. There is lots of conservation work going on. At the time I went, they were working on the tiles on the floor. Again, very historic tiles with historic design. When I went as well, the MPs were in recess, which means they were kind of on their annual breaks. Conservatives were attending their party conference, but it kind of gave a unique chance to get really into the rooms and spaces, because if the Lords had been sitting, if the MPs had been sitting in the House of Commons, you may have been able to have gone up to the public viewing gallery and looked down on all the debating, but I probably wouldn't have been able to have gone in and actually physically stood next to the dispatch box, or stood being up onto the tiers of seats. So it was a really unique opportunity, and one which I really enjoyed. It was really amazing. Here we see a series of photographs of the House of Commons, when not in use, which is very much the same as it was when I saw it. I got very close to the dispatch box, where I could lean over and actually read the card on the microphone, which says, "Do not move." I saw the big statues of Winston Churchill, of Margaret Thatcher. And because of train times, I had to make my way back kind of rather quickly. So we made our way back towards Westminster Hall. Again, it's a huge space, one that you see all the time on TV with different things going on. Obviously the Queen's attended dinners there. So it was a really great space to be, and you'll see the footage from that.
Stuck in this evening, I was making a pixie testing instruction here and there. Would you like to have another look at the dating events? Can you imagine a beautiful table, lots of people watching you dine? Would you like that? They brought all the people to get their votes. Alright, boys and girls, today. So this is where he was put on trial.
Could I have them again?
Yeah.
I also rode the London Underground, which I haven't ridden for many years. The last time I rode it, I was probably about 13, 14, but it hasn't changed, and it was very busy in places, but I would recommend it as a really quick way to get around London. So then I just did the train journey in reverse back home, and when I got home I just couldn't believe, that just a few hours ago I'd been in the Houses of Parliament, and I would recommend it as a trip. Don't overlook the Houses of Parliament as a trip. The tour guides know their stuff, they're full of information, they are really happy to answer your questions. So don't be afraid to ask and answer questions. There are also audio tours available too, and I think they're translated into all kinds of different languages, so don't worry if English isn't your first language. I'm sure the audio facilities cater for that. Yes, I would certainly recommend it as a trip, not one to be overlooked. It's kind of, I think, one of those hidden London gems. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a comment, share on social media, and just let me know what you think about this video. Please leave a comment. Would you attend the Houses of Parliament? Would this video persuade you, or make you feel like you really want to visit the next time you're in London? And also let me know what you think about video and photography in places of interest. Do you think that they, when people share the photos and videos, do you think they attract more people to go and see these things for themselves? Or do you think it puts people off? Do you think it stops people from going? Let me know in the comment section below. So, from me in Shropshire, goodbye. Thank you for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, then please leave a like, comment and share on social media. Don't forget to subscribe for all the latest channel uploads. From me in Shropshire, goodbye.